Hello everyone, and welcome back. This is Chapter 0 for Spring 2015, and there are a number of really important changes to this document and to my policies. The first is that I am bumping up the requirement for students to have an 80 average to exempt the test to a 90, which is what it should have been all along. To exempt the exams, you have to, 1, carry a 90.0 or better average, and turn in all of your work on time. Last semester it was an 80 and students just had a field day with that, and so many students were just happy with an 81, 82 average, and I really want my students to have A's in my classes. So the requirement to exempt the exams is now a 90. It is not an 80. Let's scroll down and see what else is important here. There are 4 more things that I want to cover. The missed assignment policy. 30% of your course average is going to be deemed as participation, which simply means you turned in your work on time. If you miss an assignment, participation grade drops from 100 to an 85. If you miss 2 assignments, your participation grade drops from an 85 to a 50, and if you miss 3 assignments, turn in absolutely nothing, you have a 0 in participation, and 30% of your grade is a 0. That's not good. Our advisory panel identified professionalism as extremely important of a quality for our graduates and our students. So for this reason, I'm making participation / professionalism 30% of the grade. If you want to avoid a 0 for missing an assignment, simply turn in 10% of the work before the deadline. 10% is not too much to ask. Let's see, what else? The deadlines. I want you to think of Sunday night as your last day to submit the weekly folders assignments. I know that it's Tuesday, and it still is. Those Monday and Tuesday, however, are buffer days in case something goes wrong on Sunday. That's the way I want you to think of this. So many of you were waiting until Tuesday or Tuesday night, and there's no way that within 16 weeks and with over 100 students that something isn't going to come up, making it impossible or extremely difficult for you to get your work in because you waited until Tuesday night, 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock at midnight. Maybe you forgot, something came up. Who knows? But sooner or later, it comes back to bite you. So think of Sunday night as your deadline and allow yourselves Monday and Tuesday as buffer days. All right? If you're turning work in Tuesday nights, 6 o'clock or afterwards, and you're doing that the entire, sooner or later, something is going to go wrong. And when you email me at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, I'm not sitting here waiting at my computer, waiting for emails from students so I can help them through their crisis. Mondays and Tuesdays are buffer days. Think of Sundays as your deadline. Let me move on. Discussion boards, self-help forum. I get riddled every semester with questions from students that are already handled multiple times in the Chapter 0 document, in Blackboard, and in the syllabus or on the schedule. So what I want you to do, if you have a question and you're pretty sure it's already been handled somewhere but you just don't know where, go to the discussion board and post it to the self-help forum. And you may already see your question posted there by another student. I also want all students to subscribe to that forum, at least for the first month of the semester, which means you'll get an email with folks' questions. Jump in there and help each other out and help me out. I'd really appreciate it. If you are exempt from the test, I used to put in blue exemption squares. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do something better than that. I'm going to take your course average as it is when we're entering the test, raise it by a percentage point or 2, and enter that as your test score, which will inflate your course average even higher. The reason I'm going to do that is because when students were exempt before and they didn't have to take the first 2 or 3 exams and then they took that last exam, it was artificially inflated because the first 2 were exempt and other elements of the course were also skewed and their weight was larger than it should be. So if you have a 91 average going into test 1 and all your work's in, I'm going to enter a 92 as your test grade or something even higher. So that's it. I've got 5 seconds left. I think I covered everything. Have a great semester, and we'll see you online.